Hey class, it's Miss Moncayo here, and I'm just wanting to do a little mini tutorial on how to wrap up your game level 1 game. But before I wrap it up, let me just review real quick on what you should have up to this point. First of all, we drew a maze on our backdrop. So if I go here to my backdrop and go to backdrops, you'll see that this is where I can customize my main maze. And there should be no script here. The only thing that should have a script are my characters on the sprite section. My main sprite is the cat that I chose. Your cat should be able to move up, down, right, and left. Just be careful, make sure that you are looking into the details by changing the Y. So if your cat wants to move up and down, it needs to be on the Y axis. And also right and left will be determined by the X axis, and look for those positive and negative numbers. Your main cat should also have a starting point, so anytime I start the game, my cat should know where to show up and where to begin. And also, to make it a little bit more challenging, anytime that my cat touches the black, it also has to start at the beginning too. So these are what those code blocks are. We also programmed the bat. The main role for the bat is just to glide and get in the way of the cat to make it more challenging too. So right here, it says negative 170 and 101 is one of the coordinates, and it's going to end on the coordinate of 191 and negative 121. If these numbers were exactly the same, your bat would actually just stay in one spot. But since they're different, well, actually mine are on two different coordinates. It's on coordinate 2 and coordinate 4, which makes it able to go across. So I'm going to go ahead and push play so that you guys can see, and I'm going to stop it. So this set of blocks is actually going to be optional if you want to change the costume of your sprite. It's the same pattern. They're basically the same pattern, except this says costume and this one's just for gliding. So we talked about how most of these sprites have different costumes, and it gives it the effect that it's moving. So that's something you can also program. The last thing that we also programmed yesterday was adding a scoreboard. So we added a scoreboard, and the main role for the apple is that if the main sprite, which is the cat, touches the apple, then the score is going to change by 1. So we also said that we had to make sure that the apple knows when to show up and when to hide, because if it doesn't hide, then the score is going to go up like crazy. Also, this set of blocks is important to set the score to 0, so anytime I start the game, I want to have a fresh start at 0. Okay, so that's a recap, but today the end goal is to kind of end the game and finish the game. So my idea is that when the cat touches the blue, I want the cat to go to a second backdrop that says game over. That's one way to end it. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my backdrop, and under backdrops I'm going to make a new one by clicking on this paintbrush. Okay, once I've clicked on the paintbrush, I'm just going to do a very simple background with a text that says game over. Okay. Click off to the side to save it, or if you want to spend some time to stretch it, that's fine too. But now I'm going to click off to the side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start the game. And as you can see, my cat doesn't know which background to start the game with. So I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to go back to my sprite 1, go to the scripts, and under looks, it says switch to backdrop 2, and there's also backdrop 1. So let me go ahead and program that when the game starts, I want it to switch to backdrop 1. Okay, but if it touches the blue, then it can go to backdrop 2. So I need to make a set of code, which is basically going to look like this, that when the game starts, forever, if it touches the blue, I'm going to pull this little guy out, then it can switch to the backdrop 2. Okay, so let me go ahead and test that out. I'm going to cheat a little bit here to save some time. Okay, and there it is. So to take it one more step further, to have my bat disappear, I'm going to go ahead and also program that if, this will actually be a new block because we haven't used this one yet, when the backdrop switches to backdrop 2, the bat, remember right here, the bat is going to hide. Okay, so I push start, which made me reset to backdrop 1. I'm going to go here, backdrop 2. Now the bat has gone. And once you've taken some time to play the game, these apples will have already disappeared. So that's the way to wrap up your game, to kind of put an ending to it. That's only one way. I'm sure there's plenty of ideas that you guys have. Maybe some of you are excited to continue on to game level 2. But for this assignment, since it's our first Scratch project, we're going to end it at game level 1. And then another time, we'll keep expanding on game level 2. And that will definitely be a little bit more challenging and complicated, because you'll see that more sprites will start to pile up, which means that means more of the coding will start to pile up, which is a good thing, but we're just not ready for that yet. So the main idea for this is just to focus on game level 1, that you have a cat that can move up, down, right, and left. It still has some areas to avoid. It can collect points along the way and have an end goal and stop there. Okay? So how about you guys try it now? Take some time. I'm going to set the timer for you. And after that, we're going to review your assignment, because I know some of you are eager to choose other characters and other things to collect. And that will be game level 1. All right, so we'll start practicing now.